Hey all, welcome back. So I thought before jumping into any specific DevOps tools or any specific automation tools, why not we first understand what is DevOps, um, why we use DevOps, what are the main benefits of it, and what are like typical workflows that are followed in any organization. And uh, so Today's agenda will be we will discussing about what are the benefits of DevOps, what are typical workflows that are followed in most of the organization, and understanding agile. And if time allows, then we'll finally take a look or like take a look into some popular DevOps tools. So let us start with what is DevOps. And people commonly misinterpret DevOps as a technology. DevOps is not a specific technology or any specific tool. Instead, it is a methodology. It's a practice that is followed in any organization to increase the pace of any their software delivery cycles or any releases that can be deployed in a much faster and better ways. So as we discussed, what are the main benefits of DevOps? It increases release velocity. So whenever the developers develop a code for the requirement, it can be moved into production in a very short duration.
Additionally, it helps in early defect detection because as soon as the code is developed, it is tested at multiple levels. So as soon as any bugs or any findings comes up, it gets resolved uh, quickly. And finally, lastly and not the least, it also helps in early recovery from the failure because as soon as the findings is detected, we can revert to the previous version of the deployment and we can fix on the bug. So coming to the next part, that is what are the typical DevOps workflows that are followed in most of the organizations. So here we will also understand what is agile, as it's a very trending topic and with the hot topic, because in current organization or in the current industry level, everyone wants things to be agile. So what is agile? What was followed before we adapted agile? So we will talk about.
Let us understand what is agile. So it is basically an iterative approach to project management. It's a strategy that a team, a project follows for software development, and their focus on rapid release can be achieved. So it's an iterative approach to project management and software development that focuses on collaboration, customer feedback, as well as the rapid release. So in Agile methodology, some planning and design is like done upfront, but the development proceeds in small batches, which involves like close collaboration with the stakeholders, the scrum master, the team, the complete team. So before implementing, like before agile come into picture, so you organization used to follow waterfall methodology. So in waterfall methodology, it was the complete deployment cycle, the complete software development cycle was divided into phases. There were multiple phases like conception, analysis, design, construction, and testing, and finally the deployment. So in conception, there were like determining what all requirements they have and what exactly the project needs to be built, what type of software that is required to be built. And in the analysis phase, they did some technical requirement analysis, what all features and functionalities the project should have. And in the design section, finally, they uh, they discussed on how these approach, how this requirement will be achieved, and then finally it comes to production. Sorry, development. So here the actual code development started. So once the code is completely developed, then it comes with uh, testing, and once the testing is finished, then the product was finally deployed. So generally, it looks like simpler approach, but what happened is every phase is needs to be completed and needs to be perfect before moving to the next step. So because of which, what happened is it took a huge amount of time uh, to deploy a specific feature or the complete project. Like once the phase one start, uh, the construction phase where everything was planned, and once everything planned, then the analysis started, and then the design started, and then the construction of code. Main thing was the construction of code. So um the coding needs to be completely finished from starting to end before it was moved to test. So it was a very tedious approach, and here it like the even the development team was not so sure about what should be, what can be the fixes or what can be the findings that may occur from their developed code. So removing these methodology, the previous methodology that we are following, that was the waterfall approach, we moved into agile, where everything was uh, broken into simpler small batches. So as soon as any feature that needs to be added to a software or the website, so the complete team work upon that particular focus upon that particular item, and test and complete it as soon as possible. So agile is basically not divided into phases, but it follows sprint based approach where each sprint are majorly like for 2 weeks, but depends on the project. It can be little less or little more. So in general, the sprints are of 14 days to 15 days, where the uh, initial call happens, and we discuss upon what all analysis, what all features that needs to be added, or what are the bugs that were incurred in the previous release. So sprint is basically the starting and the ending of a complete release. From the development to deployment, everything covers within each single sprint. So coming back to the process flow of DevOps, it is divided into development and operations at the group level. So in development phase, we have the planning phase. So once the um, features are planned, what all things to be implemented or what all things to be fixed within this particular sprint. So it comes under planning phase. Why not I integrate that along with the tool? So suppose for the planning phase, we usually take help of some ticketing tools such as Jira, or we also take help with GitLab and Bitbucket to track all the change, all the requirements, and how we are proceeding with the things. So it comes under planning phase. And then once the features are planned, what are things to be added and what are modifications to be done, we move into development phase. So where we like develop the code or where we fix the bug, and then uh, let us take example of a Java application. So once a like a feature to be added and we develop the Java code. So um, next we move to the build phase where we take help of some code build tools like Maven, Gradle, or some other kind of tools. And further, once the code is built, it is Then for packaging, that is where we take help of some artifacts. It also termed as artifact. The packages that are built are termed as artifacts, and it is stored in some kind of artifact tree, such as Archiva or JFrog artifact tree. And further, these packages are sent to test environment where we test the code, and if there come some findings or some bugs are found out, then again it is sent back to development team. Unlike the waterfall model, we don't go for the complete uh, the coding is complete. Once the coding is totally completed, we don't move it like that. And once the code is tested, like using some tools like Selenium or Cucumber, something, then it is further moved to release environment, where we configure all the infrastructures and um, all the configurations of the instances, the virtual machines, the operating systems, etc. And once the proper configuration is done, then finally it is moved, uh, all the codes and everything, all the packages, software packages are moved to the environment. It may it be the Linux server or Ubuntu server or any kind of server may it be. So in that configured environment, it is moved, and then finally we monitor those um, monitor those environment using some monitoring tools such as Nagios or Prometheus, Grafana, Splunk, and there are tons of other uh, tools available for that. So these are the typical workflow that an organization follow. I hope you like this video, and for more content, for more um, updates on the further tools and technologies that uh, I'll be providing, stay tuned with me. So, signing off. Thank you.